It's just like so many people have so much bullshit on the internet. It's like, okay, whatever. That's just people.
Yeah, but we're still in that area.
We still are.
Era.
We still are in that era.
A lot of fucking
I'm afraid of that one clip. I'm afraid to post this, dude.
What, the gay one?
Yeah.
I already did that. I already did on YouTube, so you might as well just.
Fuck, dude, that one. What have the comments been like?
I don't actually think it got a single review or single video. They will
you
pull
hate
that.
gays?
Okay, so we're just gonna. How are we gonna do this? We're gonna go through our presidents, and then we're gonna start the debate.
Yeah.
What about opening statements?
Well, we'll do opening statements, and then
we're doing opening statements.
Yeah. Up to 90 seconds, right?
Okay, so
I think that's what we
we're doing opening statements. I didn't prepare an opening statement. We didn't talk about this.
I mean, I didn't write anything out. I'm just going to do it off the fucking... I mentioned it today in the chat. I've mentioned it in the chat multiple times, I feel
like. My name is Lolo, and I'm a
chat.
Liberal...
Well...
I'm a liberal wiener sucker.
I mean, we don't have to do opening statements.
You want my guns? Come kiss me for it.
I mean, it could be literally... I mean, mine's just going to be stupid. Like, I'm not... Nobody's going to vote for me anyways. Look at me. I mean...
You don't know that.
I don't.
You're not even trying to win?
No, I am trying to win, but I also understand populism. So...
I'd vote for him.
Oh. Wait, which one?
Both.
Oh.
You can't.
That's not how it works, Buster.
Buster, you're old enough to run for president, aren't you?
No.
I got like 3 years.
32?
I thought you were 42.
Yeah, it's 35.
Yeah, I got 3 years.
35. All right.
Opening statements, yes or no?
Fuck.
So, yeah. So, opening statements. We doing that?
Hopefully not.
If it helps, I think I might have had too many hits, so we might be closer on the same level.
We'll just skip the opening statements.
Look at these scratches on
No opening statements, just the questions. So we're gonna do 5 questions, 90 seconds apiece.
Yeah.
And then what did we say? 5 minutes for debate.
Yes.
I thought we were gonna do 90 seconds for each of those, because I said that would leave us at around 5 minutes per question.
Wait, I'm confused. So, but I thought we were
90 seconds, 90 seconds, 90 seconds. So a 90 seconds for your answer, 90 seconds for me.
I misunderstood what the 5 was. Okay, that makes sense.
And so that together
just 90
is
seconds
right around 5 minutes.
Each thing,
you know
basically.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we don't have to be like
strict,
hard cut off at 90 seconds, especially when we're going back and forth.
I guess that was my thing. It would be more of like Buster telling us, hey, you're at 90 seconds. Try to wrap it up soon. Type of thing. Not like a hard...
He needs a soundboard.
Yeah.
For what?
Let me fucking
so we can fucking make some sound happen.
Oh.
So we know our time's coming up. Not something gay like fucking Kill Tony where they've got the fucking... Meow, meow. Yeah, that's what it is. We need something like...
I mean, he is probably gay, so...
We need something like... Where did that come from?
No, let's not do that.
That was too long. What was that? Was that a fart noise?
You could literally find like an elevator ding or something.
No, I like the fart noise. Come on.
That is funny. Okay.
Farts will always be funny.
Fart noise it is. There we go.
Yep.
Just a different fart noise. God damn it. See, now I feel like an asshole.
What?
Now that we're using the fart noises.
What's wrong with
Now I feel like I'm overdressed. That's my point.
Oh, yeah, you've got a do-rag and shades on, and you feel overdressed? Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, this is promo. I might really want to run for president.
You said what? This is what? Homo?
No, this is.
Yeah, see, that right after you said you were saying you'd run for president. That'd be honestly fucking hilarious. I would support you as much as I could, but I would also be laughing the entire time. Not like at you in your face, just like
on the side,
looking at all the things that are gonna come.
Like, can you believe this fucking guy?
I would have to go watch any of your debates or speeches. I'd have to go watch them live, and I'd be in the back, and people would be like, "Fuck you," and just telling you all types of shit, dude. I'd be dying in the back. I'd be laughing so fucking hard.
Yeah, that would be quite the sight. Honestly, I think if I ran for president, I would just make them. I would do like the Vermin Supreme and just like fucking just show up and just chaos. Just like none of this matters. It's all stupid. It's all bullshit.
We're all gonna die. Ah!
If I
Maybe
make
not
president, everybody gets a pony.
Something like that.
Hell nah. Man, I was fucking with it when Trump and Biden was going at it, and he was like, elect me for a second term. I'm going to give everybody $4,000. I was like, I kind of hope Trump win. I was like, as soon as he said that shit, I was like, damn, he going to give us 4 bands.
Okay, gents.
I'm like,
740.
bet.
Yes.
Bro, I would have put that all on rent. I would have gone all rent, and at that time I was paying like, are we not started? We could have started over.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, we could just keep this all in and just jump into who we think our favorite presidents are.
But yeah, I was paying like $500 a month. No, I was paying like $600 a month at that time. That's like 6 months of fucking rent I could have just put down. Right out of that. I was like,
Yeah.
TRUMP. Let's go Trump. I was like, let's fucking go. 4 bands, baby. Rack them up.
And now bread is like $3.50.
Yeah. Well, when you don't care about either one, when you're like in that field where you're like, dude, I don't care about having Biden as my president, and I don't care about having Trump as my president. I don't really support either of them. It's easy for one of them to be like, I'll give you money. And you be like, he might have got me right there.
It is a classic. Well, Trump did the thing where he said he's going to end taxes on tips. So I mean, like, and that's a really positive thing. I don't know if he's actually going to be able to do it, but yeah. So I mean, yeah, they always appeal to that.
What can we say, dude? Donald Trump, a man for the people, a man by the people, for the people.
Is he?
That was inappropriate.
You know that
We're going to play that for a felon.
Trump actually reminds me a lot of my favorite president.
Who's that?
Another man by the people,
I think he's closer
for
to
the
Biden.
people.
I think he's closer to Biden, honestly.
You make no sense when you say these things.
Okay,
You also said that Bernie was closer to Trump. How?
because they both had dementia.
I don't think Trump has dementia.
No, I was talking about Biden and Reagan.
No. When Reagan got old, yeah,
I didn't mean to spoil it. Sorry.
that's fair. When Reagan got old. But
No, when he was a president. When he was a president the last like 2-3 years, or I don't even know. We could look that up.
when he
maybe at
got
some
old,
point. Well, but he was still president. I mean, Biden's old too, but he's still the president. That's the
So you're
comparison.
telling me that he had dementia when he ended the Cold War?
I don't think he ended the Cold War, right? Let's look this up. When
I don't know at what point in his presidency that he was, but
I don't know when the let's see. I think that happened in 91 or 92,
I don't
maybe
fucking
89. I don't remember when the Soviet Union when the wall fell. I don't remember that. What date that was? That was always the part of history I was not very good at, was the dates. Like, I always understand history. I've always enjoyed history.
And I start forgetting. I'm
But
like,
the
wait,
dates
which
are-
one of those came first?
Which is just retarded. You're just like putting history into math at that point, and it's like, what are we doing? Okay, type in when the Berlin Wall fell, and then just type in Ronald Reagan.
I should have got some water in this bitch too.
Fuck, my bad, dude. Maybe we could take a quick break before the debate. I'll get you water. 1989. Okay, and then when did Reagan?
Reagan got elected in what? It would have been a 80,
What does that say?
81 to 89.
Okay. Well, I mean, it could be
Wait,
similar.
what?
It could be similar to what's happening now
Yeah.
with Biden, where it's just like the federal government is basically just like telling Ronald Reagan what to do. I mean, that could have very well been the case too. We don't know.
I get tripping.
Huh?
Anyway,
this nigga
sorry.
was giving a speech.
Sorry, I completely
He
derailed.
heard gunshots and he said, "Ha, "You missed me." All right.
I I do that is a pretty badass quote. I will
Listen,
admit.
this is a dude who fucking took power at a time when people were scared and they were worried.
Of black people.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, definitely that too. He was definitely liked by a lot of racists, which is another reason why he reminds me of Trump. But, you know, he really put his foot down. He really told Russia, like, hey, dude, if you come around and fuck around, you're going to find out. That's what he told him. He put it down. He said, we're going to fucking nuke your ass if you fuck around and play with us. And also, he spent more on our defense at his time period than any other president had. On like nuclear defense and just defense spending for our country to make advances so that we could be better fit to defend our country. And then he was also a huge reason for stopping the production or slowing the production of more nukes.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I mean, the first part, I guess, with the Cold War, yes, I think that is probably the best thing that he did, or well, the conflict of the USSR disbanding, or whatever. Like, that's probably the best thing he did in his presidency. Now, like I said, I mean, there's speculation that he had dementia towards the end of his presidency, and you know, he might not have necessarily been the mastermind behind the plan, right? But I mean, that is still significant what he did. I mean, that was a historically positive moment for Russia when that happened, when the Berlin Wall fell. So yeah, I mean, he's good in that regard, right? You know, it's funny you mentioned Trump and Reagan, because Trump actually stole "Make America Great Again" from Ronald Reagan. That was a Ronald Reagan slogan that he just repurposed. So yes, in a way, they are very similar.
Well, I don't know if he quite completely repurposed it.
Well, stole it. I mean, stole it and used it for his own campaign.
Yeah. Might have been the same purpose. Because Reagan...
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot
Same
of people...
message.
There was a lot of people when Reagan... I don't know too much about Reagan, to be honest. Like, I honestly don't really care about any fucking president. But Reagan is just always one that struck me as interesting. But, oh, fuck. I lost my point.
Well, here's the main reason why I can't stand Ronald Reagan is, I mean, yes, he was horribly racist as a president. I mean, he created drug laws that, I mean, disproportionately affected black people. I mean, if you look at the criminalization of cocaine versus crack cocaine, which are essentially the same drug. I don't know if that necessarily happened around, like, if that initial change happened
in his presidency.
I'm pretty sure too.
Oh yeah, dude.
If anything,
he was real bad.
Yeah. If anything, if he didn't even create it, he at the very least doubled down. I mean, this is what every president, like almost every president, does at one point in their career.
He's probably responsible for pushing more drugs into black neighborhoods.
I don't know. I'm not educated on that.
If I'm right,
claim.
I think it was actually around maybe in the same time as his presidency that they stopped. Actually, it might have been sooner than that.
Yeah.
Because you used to be able to like become an electrician out of high school type shit.
Yeah.
And then you ended up having to get like a college level. Now it's like a certification, yeah. And most of these black people were not getting accepted.
The Anti-Drug Act of 1986 was a law pertaining to the war on drugs passed by the U.S. Congress and signed into law by U.S. President Ronald Reagan.
That's my guy.
And then, among other things, it changed the system of federal supervised release from a it's changed the system of federal supervised release from a rehabilitative system into a punitive system. Yes. Okay, so he's the one that. Yes.
You have to take your glasses off to read. That's insane. It's just insane to me.
The sunglasses are. What?
Oh, wait. Did you put those glasses on to read?
Yes, I just did.
I thought you had them off.
I didn't think we were. No, I've had the sunglasses on. I just switched them.
I just watched you put those on, though.
Yeah.
So you were reading without those?
Yes, I was. I had to really, really squint. I probably looked like a jackass. Or an idiot, anyways. Yeah, I mean, look, he put a bunch of. I know he put like he raised like the federal like how long you served for certain amounts of drugs or whatever. As someone who obviously is someone who's pro drug legalization, all drug legalization. I actually got into an argument about drug legalization today with someone.
I believe it.
Yeah, it happens often.
Don't do drugs. Follow the DARE program. It's not worth it. They're overrated. All you do is get addicted, and then you give more money to people who don't need it.
Lola's suddenly getting political here. I wonder what the reason for that is. Making bold political. No, I'm kidding. The 1986 bill created minimum sentencing laws with a 100-to-1 disparity between powder and crack cocaine. Holy shit! Possession of 5 grams of crack, approximately 0.18 ounces, would lead to a 5-year minimum sentence, and 50 grams, approximately 1.8 ounces, would elicit a 10-year minimum sentence. Insane amounts of time for. I mean, it's literally a non-violent action being perpetrated by a violent action. That's what happens when you put that amount of time. I mean, really any amount of time, but especially something like that, especially something like 5 to 10 years for just possessing a substance. Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, crack is pretty bad.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say crack is pretty bad. I'd say.
Let's not deviate from the episode
legalize,
here. We can get into it during the debate if you want.
Legalize if you want to, but like, are you gonna tell me that crack's not bad?
I think there are a lot of factors. I think.
So you think crack can be beneficial?
Well, okay. Look, here's the thing. I think if you break down crack as like just being the drug cocaine. Yeah, I think cocaine can be useful. I don't see anything wrong with somebody using cocaine for like ADHD symptoms, or if you just need to focus. Like, there's obviously
cocaine is literally made with fucking battery acid.
Okay, but why are these drugs made like that? It's because they're made in a black market, because they can't do it legally. They can't do it with proper means. So they're going to take these shortcuts and they're going to make these drugs
like the
shitty.
cocoa plant.
Exactly.
Like how some people chew on cocoa leaves. Yeah. Why don't people just chew on cocoa leaves? Because they're not illegal.
Well, I mean, there's potency effects. I mean, I doubt that you can get the same out of cocaine leaf that you would like snorting cocaine.
Oh,
but
yeah,
look, I mean,
definitely not. But I mean, there you go. So if you only need to chew on the leaf to get the benefits,
yeah. I mean,
why do the dirty shit?
Look, I mean, let's say like, even if cocaine was in the form of like a smokable like crack cocaine, right? I don't necessarily.
I mean, you can smoke it without making it crack.
Yes, that's very true.
You can definitely do that.
That's very true. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's crazy to say that there would be some safer method that could be studied in a lab, or like that companies could invest research in. Like, I don't think that that's a crazy leap in logic in my mind. Or maybe we could actually have some actual data.
You have to. I can't.
The effects of these drugs. That's the problem with this too. Is like we don't have any actual data on how these drugs really affect society because of its illegal status. Because it's like refusing us to actually look at these drugs.
I guess that's fair, but I can't agree with saying cocaine. But I could agree with if you're talking about using the cocoa plant.
But I mean, it's just in the same family.
Cocaine is mainly derived from. It's not, because cocaine.
To be fair, I've never
mix
tried
it with fucking battery acid and a bunch of fucking other chemicals. When you open a bag of cocaine, it smells like fucking ethanol gas.
Yes, but dude, that's because it's illegal. That's because of the black market. If it wasn't that, you could have like a
no, because that's what cocaine is. That is what cocaine is. So if you're
telling me that's the only way you can make cocaine is with battery acid?
It's a bunch of dirty fucking chemicals. Like, it's 11 super dangerous. Fucking, there's a whole video with fucking. Should we Google what the ingredients, what goes into cocaine?
Let's do it.
What time is it?
I don't know if we should look up how to make it. Maybe just what goes in it.
Are we gonna get fucking raided by the after Kim Reynolds is?
Here we go. The DEA.gov.
I love how the DEA just like, here we go.
What the fuck?
That's retarded.
Oh, you should have just pressed the back button. There's a whole thing with Gordon Ramsay.
Okay, we gotta look this up and then we gotta move on. Or well, do you have anything else positive to say about? Or,
no.
Okay.
I'm into this now.
Okay.
All right. They harvest the coca leaves. The leaves get soaked in gasoline. The gasoline is drained. The cocaine base is dried. Scroll down a little bit. The dried substance is dissolved in solvent. Excess solvents are removed and dried into bricks. Okay, so I guess maybe you don't have to put battery acid in it, but they do. There's a whole video.
The gasoline
with
is
fucking
definitely-
Gordon Ramsay going down to Colombia.
I've seen that video. I don't know. I think if it was legalized and it could be researched and it could be actually looked at, that people would be able to find a way to
Okay,
get
if
that
that's
drug of the
main
cocoa
base,
leaf.
though, yeah, getting the derivatives of the cocoa leaf.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Make it, but cocaine itself needing to be studied to figure out whether it's bad or good. I can tell you, if you're putting gasoline into a plant to soak stuff out of it and then taking that leftover and drying it, it's not good. I can tell you that right now, bro. It's not good. It's no bueno. But I do believe that if they studied the cocoa leaves and the chemical in there, that it could be a huge benefit. I mean, nicotine and caffeine are a huge benefit for people, actually.
Yeah.
But at the rate that they feed them to us and allow us to consume them at the same time, you know, like they push these things on us, like Red Bull and things like that. It's like I can't think of how to say it. Like, you know, it's like if you're eating, there's good things out here. There's things that are good for you, but they're only good in small measure. Here we go. Like we're overdoing it. So now we've just become addicted.
Harvested coca leaves are soaked in gasoline, dried and drained, mixed with strong solvents like lime and potassium, soaked in acid to extract all alkaloids, drained of liquid, dried into bricks of cocaine. And we're going to clip that and put it up on the site, by the way, the YouTube.
That's fine.
So everybody can...
How to make cocaine.
Oh, yeah, maybe we should.
Coleman, you're definitely getting raided.
It was going to happen someday. All right. Anything else on the subject?
No, that's all. We were just looking at that.
No.
I think we found our base.
I think we actually found compromise.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the thing with this whole thing. That was the thing with this whole thing. I was like, I really don't. I think there are going to be some points where you and I actually don't disagree that much. We're actually going to be pretty
definitely not
uniform.
I mean, a lot of the shit that I say is wild. I'm just like Ronald Reagan. If I really chalked it up and did my research and was like, oh, I have to choose my favorite president in American history, it's most likely going to be JFK.
Well, that was my answer. That was my answer for
Yeah.
my favorite president was JFK.
I mean, if you're a person that cares about people and you also still care about us being a strong, united country, a country that can defend ourselves but actually uses our strengths and powers for good and helps the people within our country, it'd be hard not to say JFK, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm sure. And here's the thing about JFK. The thing that, the reason I love him, he's probably the last true American, libertarian-esque, to the true roots of what America is. I mean, he's probably the last president that truly resembles that.
And the Cuban Missile Crisis falls into that as well. I mean,
Yep.
The Cold War, that was part of it. But he handled that situation, I mean, about as beautifully as you could. Instead of the Reagan route where he was like, we'll nuke them, which at that time period that he said it, I do think it was beneficial. But he was like, listen, if you do this, there's going to be serious consequences.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take this as a threat to the entire Western Hemisphere, and we will react swiftly and with full force. And that's nearly word for word how he fucking said it.
Well, that's what is so sad about like when JFK, was assassinated. Is LBJ came in right after him, and he was terrible. I mean, he just like excelled the federal government and the military like by tenfold. Just an awful reversal of what JFK was trying to do. But I mean, look, JFK. I mean, he was.
Well, yeah, they had to. I don't think it's. Come on, I don't think it was LBJ per se. I think he's the scapegoat.
I mean,
why was JFK killed? Let's be real. He was taking us in a route that the powers that be did not want us to go.
Yes.
So they fucking murked his ass because the next dude in line was like, oh, fuck, now I know what they did to him. I need to do everything they tell me or they're going to fucking kill me too.
Well, look, I mean, he was in the game of politics. So, I mean, I don't think that... I don't know. He would have fucking he would flip for anything, right? I mean, people that are in this game, that are in the game of politics, I mean,
they'll flip.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it'd be fairly easy though. Say you're LBJ, all right? All this shit just happened with JFK. Now I'm the powers that be, and I come in like, hey, this is us. This is what we did. We know everything about you. There's nowhere you can even run and hide that we won't be able to find you. So like, all we need you to do is do this, and we're gonna make you rich and powerful. For most people, it's gonna be hard to be like, no, kill me. You know, they will. They'll kill you, and they'll make it look like it was some freak accident. They will get away with it. They will absolutely get away with it. And if it gets discovered, it's probably gonna be like 200 years from now. The fuck are you doing over there?
Getting all fucking no, man, I fucking JFK, he was the last president to really try to take down the FBI and the CIA. Like, I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like a really controversial opinion to think that they had a big role in his assassination.
Imagine what the FBI and the CIA could really be like with a guy like JFK right now. You know what I'm saying? Or like if he would have been able to run a full 2 terms.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you think about what the CIA and the FBI are supposed to be, those things could be hugely beneficial for like the safety and security of people within our country and outside of our country. Hugely beneficial. But instead they get their greedy little paws and everything, and they got to do... I just read a story about this dude that was living in a small town in Florida, I think it was, and that he had been wanted by the FBI for 40 years. What are you doing? You're the FBI. 40 years? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. 40 fucking
so
years
much.
from the FBI?
That's so much.
Dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Oskaloosa Police Department sucks balls, and they get it done within a month. Within a month, they fucking find you, dude. What the fuck are we talking about here?
They need a reason for people to keep giving them money. They have to keep creating conflicts. They have to keep dragging it out as long as they can. That's the whole name of the game for them. Anyways,
yeah, we're getting pretty late here.
Yeah, but I mean that's why I like JFK, and yeah, and he slept with Marilyn Monroe, and that's pretty badass too. So.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. A lot of people were sleeping with her, so maybe that wasn't badass.
Hell yeah.
But you still got that puss.
I'm fucking freezing right now.
Do you need water before we start? Should we take a quick break for that?
I'm not opposed to that.
Okay, let's do that.
Coming out of the red corner, standing 4 foot 11 inches tall, weighing in at 205 pounds. We've got Lolo Savage.
You're really 205.
And no. And coming out of the blue corner, weighing in at 337 pounds.
Cue the music. Anybody gonna say something? Or we're just gonna... Guys!
Coming in the right corner, Lolo Savage. The left corner, we got Coleman McAllister. Today's debate.
He said red corner, left corner. I mean, it kind of works though, because at least blue would be left. Jesus Christ.
The subconscious there. Anyways, but yeah, so we're doing a debate.
The bombs bursting in there.
You should apply to the. You really think 90 seconds is gonna be enough for you?
I always loved it when like black people would go up during events and sing the national anthem, and I would hear my uncles and shit be like, "Why are they gonna add that stuff at the end? Why don't they just sing it the way it's supposed to be? They're ruining the song."
You know, it actually was like a very happy tune when it was first written. Like it was meant to be like a like very quick and upbeat and like festive, and now it's like somber, because it has all the fetishization of war in this country.
All right,
In this country,
let's get to it. That burp was gnarly. I apologize. I don't know why I just let that go. Like, I'm not doing this right now. Well, whoops. I burp, I think, a good bit every episode, though. It's the beer. The Busch Light, the bubbles, the burger. All right, let's do this.
All right, gentlemen, I got 5 questions for you. 90 seconds apiece. Who's starting?
I was wondering. Do you want to? You decide. I hand it to you.
We'll rotate. We'll start with Lolo.
Okay.
Okay. Bad.
First question. Economic recovery. What specific policies do you propose to stimulate economic growth and address income inequality following the COVID-19 pandemic? You have 90 seconds.
You see, the issue is today, when we talk about things in the government, like, we don't have the money. But we have a lot of money, actually. So first things first, every American citizen, the age 18 and above, is going to get a $1,000 check once a month just for being a U.S. citizen. That's money that we owe you back. That's money to help you with whatever your needs may be to make sure these people are able to, have fun in life and do more than just pay bills. At more of a national standpoint, when I become president, we are going to call for an immediate halt for all money going to every other country that we are not in debt to. All these things will be renegotiated between me, my cabinet, and Congress. And I can guarantee you many of these things are going to be lowered by over 50%. This is money that we need to stimulate our economy. We're going to... Joe Biden.
20 seconds.
My time's up. I think
That's
I
it?
made my point.
That's it for you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My turn?
Like, going like, I'm ready to go.
Ready whenever you are, Coleman.
I mean, when it comes to the economic inequality in this country, my biggest focus by far is the citizens, the people of this country. I think the very first step to helping those people is to end the Federal Reserve, completely ending that entire facade. I also would end sale. I promise in my first 4 years to end sales tax. No sales tax. Anytime you go to a grocery store, you in that store do not have to pay taxes on that front. I actually do really like your point, Lolo, about stopping foreign aid. I think that's something I also agree with. I would cease all funding to any other countries immediately. The situations, regarding homelessness, regarding income inequality, those are far more important in my mind than whatever's happening in Gaza or Ukraine or anything like that. So that's basically it. That's my time.
Okay, we're going to go with Coleman on the next one.
Oh,
Well-
are we debating or?
I liked a lot of your points as well. We definitely fall into the same category on that standpoint. I mean, outside of just people too, there's so many things with infrastructure that needs fixed in our country right now. I couldn't promise to eliminate sales tax, federal tax, yes, but power to the states, brother. Power to the states. If your state needs taxes, your state needs taxes. That's how your state is going to make the decisions on how those need to be spent, and the people who reside in that state are going to elect the people to run that state.
Well, I guess I agree with a lot of what you said. I guess the thing where you and I disagree is, I as an anarcho-capitalist, believe in, ending the, ideally in an ideal world, ending the Fed. Ending taxation. I believe taxation is theft. I know that's like a slogan of the Libertarian Party a lot. I mean, that's kind of what everybody knows, but it's true. I truly believe that because I think that's just an issue where a lot of people, easily can just kind of ignore that fact, right? They like it is in a sense government coming in and taking money from you. So I guess I think I do like that you're rolling back a lot of it, but I do ultimately disagree with any taxation. I understand if I were in political office, if I were running this country, that I would have to, I wouldn't be able to just end taxes right off. I mean, I wouldn't be able to just instantly do that, but that would be a huge push. If we could end the Fed, if we could end taxation, that would be amazing.
I thought we were using the fart noise, so there you go.
I thought you guys were still going.
No, we actually are pretty.
I think we actually agree a lot.
Even on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty even there.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for the next one, guys?
Okay. Yes. It's my go, right?
Yes, sir. Okay. Foreign policy. What will be your approach to international relations, particularly with regards to major powers like China and Russia, as well as allies in Europe and Asia?
The first thing I would do as president is pull from NATO, pull from the EU. There's no reason why, again, our taxpayer dollars need to be going to other countries, especially a bigger, an even bigger government than the U.S., federal government. So that would be my first step, to completely pull from those organizations and focus on what's going on. I mean, it sounds simplistic, but I guess when it comes to me, I'm not an interventionalist. I believe in defense more than anything else. I think defending yourself for the worst is going to be a way better strategy than, trying to intervene and get in other foreign affairs, right? So that would be my first. That would be the main thing that I would do as president for that. So that's it.
30 seconds.
Nice.
Nice.
Lolo?
This is easier than
Oh,
I
is it
thought.
my time? See, I thought we were utilizing the fart noise more, and so I was like, okay, I'm
He
prepared
quit before
for
I
this.
had to.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
figured it would just be like, oh, okay, you're done.
This is why we would not make good politicians, because they can just go on and on and on and on, and we're pretty concise and to the point.
Yeah, I'm also pretty nicotine buzzed right now.
Your time starts now.
So. Okay. Can you repeat the question?
What will be your approach to international relations, particularly with regards to major powers like China and Russia, as well as allies in Europe and Asia?
I don't know why I said China and Russia and then also talked about Asia. China, I would say, is most of Asia. But point being, I don't think that pulling from NATO and the EU would be a negative effect. It would be something that would have to happen very slowly. I think I would be more in the field of taking a small role. When it comes to relationships with China, with Russia, with people like India, the Middle East, I think people have forgotten that we're all just people at the end of the day. We're all living our own existence, and what they believe is right for them is what they believe is right for them. I don't think we're really in any position to necessarily tell them they're wrong when we have our own endeavors as well. And I'm going to utilize that when I speak to leaders of China and Russia, India, and all these other countries. I'm going to utilize that thought process of, okay, well, we need to do what's good for us, and they need to do what's good for them. And as long as it is not abruptly affecting the freedom of America and endangering the safety of our country and our citizens, I don't think it's necessarily something we need to be involved in. Perfect time.
Nice.
Right at the fart noise.
Spot on. Or spot on. Spite on.
Spite.
That's what I have.
I know that was kind of all
Spite
over the
for you.
place, but I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. I smoked too much before this.
No, I mean, look, man. I mean, this. I think this is kind of just like the last question, right? I do agree with you a lot. And like, look, I will say this. I think like, for all the negatives it has, I do think having, economic relations with China, not even in terms of the government, but just in terms of what the citizens, import and export from each other, how many products are made from China. Obviously there's issues in that, but you do have to look at the broad positive of, I don't think people in this country would have the access that they do to like clothing and whatever else if it weren't for that, right? If it weren't for, so I think that's important.
A huge issue for something like our negative relationship with China is Taiwan is just our Cuba to Russia,
Yes.
It's just an area where we're able to move freely, and that if we needed to go to war with China, so we put ourselves in so many just in case scenarios instead of focusing more on just our home defense in our country, in our own waters, in our own lands, that it rattles feathers, And I do believe that there is something to be said that if we weren't protecting Taiwan, then there's a likely scenario that China would destroy them. And that's a lot of people that want to do their own thing being forced to be run by another country. And I don't believe that's right. I don't believe that's correct. But it's something to be discussed by many countries, in my belief, on how things possibly should be handled.
That's fair.
I don't like the idea of like when you're in NATO and the EU and things like this, you're in a pact. So it's like something happens to one, we come to help them no matter what.
I agree. It gets complicated and messy.
Yeah. I think it would be a better situation to send Taiwan more money than fucking send the Ukraine. And
I mean, I would give neither of them money personally. I would leave it up to the citizens if they want to pay money. If they want to buy products from China, I think they should do that.
Yeah, more of an open market.
Yes, I mean a free market, an individual market, not one where we have contractual ties with them, with whatever, right? I do not like that. So yeah, again, I mean, we're kind of just on the same page. So let's move on.
Lolo, how do you propose to reform the immigration system, including pathways to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and border security?
This is a beautiful question, and I love that you asked this question. Actually, I believe that the process for becoming a citizen in the United States is just too much. It is absolutely too much. There's plenty of citizens here who don't know about our presidents. They don't speak good English, and they are true Americans. They come here, and they come here to live a true American lifestyle. They love being here. They truly enjoy it. They pay their taxes. They do what they're supposed to do. But we've set up a system that's made it more so people either don't want to come here or they don't want to come here legally. And when they do come here legally, most of these people are getting pushed through the program by joining our military. And I don't like the forcefulness. Although I wouldn't be opposed to something like serving in the National Guard, keeping you in the state, doing things like sandbagging, helping out with flooded areas. Like, you're actually helping the system, the social system that we have. You're helping our people here at home. But I do believe that a country without borders isn't really a country. I do believe that we need to have strong and well-protected borders by our military and possibly other entities. But I think that's the big step, is making it more of a realistic process for these people to become legal citizens of our country without just having to be forced into active duty military.
All right. I like a lot of what you said. I think again, I think we may actually disagree on this more. When it comes to the border issue, again, with anything, my biggest concern is, more freedom to the people, more ability for them to make that decision themselves. I believe, however you look at the issue, whether from a pro border issue or like the situation is kind of happening now where, or is it that they're closing it off? I can't remember what the border situation is. Are they letting them in or are they closing it off? I think I know for a period they let them in. I should know this. I'm the presidential candidate, right?
Yep.
But yeah,
probably a bad question to ask.
Probably a bad question to ask me, maybe. But no, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think the most important thing when it comes to the border issue is defense of the citizens, the ability for the citizens to defend themselves. So if someone who they do not want coming on their property, their ranch, the people in Texas who have ranches where they don't want immigrants coming through, I think they should have the ability to defend themselves. So I mean, I guess in solution to that, what I would do as president is I would completely end the NRA. They're an awful organization; they shouldn't exist. I would give, and therefore giving citizens complete ability to defend themselves in any way they see fit, with whatever artillery they need to see fit, etc. So that'd be my solution to that.
Artillery, that's a very strong word.
Well, look, I mean, if you are...
See, I don't agree with this because there's only so many states that border Mexico, for example, which is the biggest issue that we have with people flooding our border. There is a danger. There is a threat when it comes to large forms of gangs, when it comes to cartels, when it comes to terrorist incels and things like that. There is a danger with people like that coming into our country to be able to make things happen.
Well, I think a good solution to that would be full drug legalization. I think the reason that these cartels are as brutal as they are and do what they do is because they are operating in a black market. They're operating with these stakes. These legal stakes. So I mean, yeah, things are they're going to get gnarly, and this just cultivates generation after generation. You kind of have just this, organization that just acts like that. A lot of these laws and a lot of the way things are came around after the cartels were doing crazy shit. Oh, that's not true. The laws came before the cartels.
No, a lot of things now came before these cartels came after these cartels were doing crazy shit.
No,
because they pulled American interest in the first place.
No, sure, but my point, I mean, it's like any conflict, right? Like there's what the government puts in, which is like they made whatever drugs that they are trying to sell illegal, and then that caused the problem of the cartel, and then we once again the government responded to that. So my solution is to cut all that bullshit out and let the citizens defend themselves as they see fit.
What was that? What does that one mean?
I don't know what that meant either.
That was an exclamation.
Today of all days to just start testing the soundboard.
At least we found one we disagree on. So now this gives people the opportunity to make a decision.
Yes, exactly.
That leads us into our next question, Coleman.
Sure.
What measures will you advocate for to address gun violence while respecting Second Amendment rights?
I
just talked about it.
Kind of just talked about it, yeah.
Let's get specific.
So we're sorry, repeat the question.
Jesus.
What measures will you advocate for to address gun violence while respecting Second Amendment rights?
So to address shut the fuck up. I didn't do that for you, motherfucker.
I know.
To address gun violence, I I think a big part of why there is violence in America when it comes to guns, when you look at these school shootings or just a general rise in crime, right? I don't think these things have to do with any like the weapons that are being used themselves. I think there's a deep underlying issue why these things happen. I think a big one is the mental health crisis in this country. People being over medicated. There's a really sick incentive with big pharma and excuse me, with federal government and the healthcare system that I think needs to be addressed. That could be a really underlying issue with why these kids, carry out the acts they do. I think another way for that problem specifically, I think a good way to solve that would be armed security. People taking measures in the law that allow, like I said before in the last question, allowing people to defend themselves. So like I said, I would end the NRA, and I just don't believe that that having gun restrictions for that issue is effective. That's all.
All right. What about you, Lolo?
I agree with a lot of what Coleman just said. I believe that things like poverty and over-medication are definitely a huge reason as to why so much gun violence has taken place. I think another thing with when it comes to gun violence, I think it is overstretched by the left side of the media a lot of times.
Yes.
I think it is deeply overstretched. If you're going to have guns, guns are going to be used. Now, if we take out the guns, does that take away the violence? Not necessarily. I do believe that there is a massive issue with kids and their firearms and, like school shootings. I think there's a massive issue. And there's so many things, there's so many ideas that you can come up with to try to be like, this is the issue. And I think what we need to do is talk more. Our country needs to be more connected instead of just seeing things like your president and your Congress on the TV and it being so hard to get disseminated this information in order for you to understand it. I think we really need to open things up more to the people. We need to talk about this as real people and really figure out what the issue is. Maybe it is all of these issues together. And we just need to make the necessary steps, feeding these people correctly, making sure we're helping our economic state, making sure we're helping our industrial state, more roads, better roads, less aggressive traveling. There's so many things that could go into somebody's day to get you irritated, to get you stressed out. And we just need to make a more simple life for our people. I don't know. I'm just shooting shit.
Hey, you're getting the hang of it. You're becoming a politician.
Yeah, we're actually filling the time slot now. We're falling into it.
All right. Last question.
Last question.
Okay.
Lolo, what is your plan to improve healthcare accessibility and affordability for all Americans, including those with pre-existing conditions?
Okay, this just really confused me because were we going to talk about the last question more at all? Did we? I don't. I mean, we ran out of time. It.
I mean, we ran out. I mean, I don't know. You and I. I mean, again, I think you and I actually agree a lot on that. So.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much like cutthroat down the middle.
I think
besides completely, when you said artillery, which was technically the question before, but allowing people to defend themselves with whatever artillery, I was like, whoa, artillery is a strong word. I don't think that people need to have fucking mortars.
I think ordnance is the better word there.
Yeah.
Sure.
People just having fucking grenades and shit on hand could get extremely wild and expensive.
You know what's interesting though? Sorry to deviate, but like dynamite, when dynamite was created, like it wasn't even used as a weapon until like the Haymarket. For those who aren't familiar, the Haymarket Square.
This is the stat too. When you think about these things, this is like the stat that they always leave out, especially like the radically left people, is like there is so many more people now. Like we're not going to talk about how our country tripled in size from this period to this time period. So obviously there's always going to be violence, right? Yes. So if you take the violence rate between 1,000 people, which obviously we weren't that small, and then fucking 1 million people, it's like obviously there's going to be technically more violence
Sure,
with a million people. There's way more fucking people. So like these things are just going to happen. That's why I put up the argument when it's just like, well, with how many kids died today and how many kids died just tragically. I'm like, they did then too. Any time period you looked at. Is it worse that they died in a school shooting, or is it worse because they got sent to literal war? Like, I mean, they're both kids dying.
I agree. Yeah.
So either way you look at it, it's kids dying, right? I think we could agree on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think people look at, whatever school shootings or petty robberies or whatever that, guns are associated with violence without looking at the scope of government, how much violence that they do, not even overseas, but like with the police in our country, people going into people's homes and, essentially in my mind.
Have to be a huge issue when it comes to gun violence as well, honestly. The way that...
Well, they don't allow people to properly defend themselves because they're like, you have to use us as the resource for your defense.
And not just that, the way they treat people on just like a consistent basis. Like when the people that are supposed to lead and protect you, you're taught as a small child that these are people that you're supposed to feel safe with and you're supposed to respect and look at them as a leader. When they consistently do the opposite, it's going to, You put these people in this position and you taught thousands, millions of kids that these are the people for them to look up to. And then they lead our country in domestic violence. If you really chalk it up, they probably damn near lead our country in murders. It's like, let's really talk about who's being violent with guns.
I agree. I think the issue is painted in a divisive way, right? Mm-hmm. It's always like anything. It's painted to support your side.
I did leave out too that not only do they appoint them as like, you grow up and they want you to look at them as leadership. They all also carry guns.
Yeah, well, I that was something I remember now. I was gonna mention that there's no statistic because it's an impossible thing to account for. How many instances of violence are actually prevented, just not even from the use of a firearm, but just from presenting a firearm. Mm-hmm. For literally, like somebody's about to rob you and you're like, hey, I got a fucking Glock right here, and they got nothing. Or there was one video I saw where like these like 4 or 5 black kids like went, of course, no, I'm kidding.
There goes your vote. There goes your
We're only an hour into the podcast.
I'm kidding. No, but these 4 these 4 kids like came into this jewelry store, like coming, and like I think they had bats or golf clubs or something. This old 70-year-old guy pulls out a single pistol, doesn't even fire a shot, just points it at them. All 4 or 5 of them turn right around, run out the door, and drive away. You know what I mean?
And
like,
that's another problem is like when it comes to their idols. There's people that those kids are stuck around that they're looking up to, and that's like things that they did, and so that's what's wanting or making them want to take that route and go and do things like that. And there was always people like that. There was always going to be people that grew up in an area where they were idolizing people that they probably shouldn't, because those people are going to cause them to do things that are very inappropriate. And then when on the other side you put the cops in there and then they do the same thing, what route are you going to turn? I mean, either way, you're going to end up doing some fucking ridiculous shit 90% of the time. So,
yeah. All right.
Ready
Should we
for
do
the
the last one?
Final question.
Again.
Okay.
Where's political move in history, by the way, to answer the previous question when asked a question?
Next question. Lolo. Healthcare reform. What is your plan to improve healthcare accessibility and affordability for all Americans, including those with pre-existing conditions?
We're going to war with Big Pharma. That's first thing first. Open healthcare market. I don't like how doctors argue with insurance, and they take taking care of people as like specific jobs. We're gonna make sure that they're funded correctly. We're gonna make sure that they're paid for what they do and the way that they're serving their communities. And we're going to make sure that people get taken care of without breaking their fucking pockets. We're going to lower the prices of insulin. Oxycontin will be no more. Sorry, boys. No more blue 30s. No more blue 30s. We're going to find different routes. We're going to teach doctors differently, too. We're going to push new agendas for education. We're going to start using more of an herbalist mindset when it comes to healing these people and making them feel better instead of just junking them up with any over-the-counter medication that we can. I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question. Fucking, I'm just shooting shit. I'm just saying shit, dude. There's just shit spilling out of my mouth right now.
So you think that people are pumping over-the-counter drugs that people can just go buy themselves?
I think all this cheap shit. I think all this cheap shit. No, I think people are. I think that the government gets paid. These people in the government get funded. Their campaigns get funded by companies that make just over-the-counter bullshit that does make you feel better, but it really doesn't do anything that beneficial for you. Temporarily solving problems.
Sure, yes.
Overprescribing people by a fucking mile, dude. And overcharging them like a motherfucker. We're not going to allow people to fucking sell things like insulin for, how much is it? Like $800 fucking dollars?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea what the...
Too expensive.
Too expensive.
That's how much it is. So, we're going to make sure people get taken care of. That's the best I got. I might have lost with this one.
I definitely think we went over 9 seconds. So, I guess this is kind of funny. I think this is actually where you and I are going to disagree the most. I think that the healthcare model that we have in this country is a disaster. Obamacare completely fucked everything up with the healthcare system. Putting more government into healthcare. Which then causes inflation, which causes just economically, and then it fucks with the value of certain medical. The creation of insurance companies, all these factors that the federal government institutes on healthcare just inflate it and just make it unaffordable for people. That's my belief. So the best way in my mind to mitigate that is to privatize healthcare. We should not have government in healthcare. We should have a free market of healthcare, which will, in time, make healthcare cheaper. If you're selling a pill at $2 million a pill and nobody can buy the pill, then you're naturally forced to drop the price, right? So I think, just like I said, getting the government out of healthcare is the best way for that. Best way to handle that.
That's basically what I was trying to say. But I'm just really high over here and kind of drunk. Nicotine high. So.
All right.
He said that statement beautifully. Don't vote for him, though. Do you want to be my vice president? Nice time for the fart noise.
You know what?
No, I completely agree. That's what I meant when I talked about like an open market, more of like a privatized free market. Because I did mention like I don't like the way that these insurance companies get involved, especially when these people are paying these insurance companies out the ass monthly for an in-case scenario. When if they weren't paying so much monthly for those in-case scenarios, it might, one, put them in a position where they're less likely to fall into that anyways. Because when your life sucks, it's like, why not drink beer? Why not keep drinking? Why not keep doing this? Or my life sucks, everything's so hard, I might as well do methamphetamines or heroin.
Yes, and look, like, why are people turning to drugs, right? It's because of a poor economic system that we live in. Things are getting more and more and more expensive, and that stresses people out, which, causes them to, not only, not save money, but to actually spend more money on substances. That's happened time and time and time again. I mean, it happened with the black community, and that's not to shit on the black community. That's just a fact, right? I mean, if it happened to the Irish. If you have a group of people that are being disparaged against, they're going to turn to ways to cope with that might not necessarily be the healthiest, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
We completely agree there. I mean,
that's surprising.
Fuck Big Pharma.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that surprising because, like, I think Big Pharma is obviously insurance and things like that.
I think the thing I will
having so much of a place in how our medicine works, it should be more power to the states. If you more power to the states in that scenario, like
that's definitely
like when it comes to the argument of abortion.
Sure.
I think it's incredibly insane that people think that the federal government should take any part in that. I mean, if you
I agree.
Elect officials in your state and your governor says we're going to make it illegal and that's what your state decides to do, that's it. All right? And then I don't believe that you should be able to criminally fucking what the fuck is the word I'm looking for?
Criminalize abortion. Yeah.
No, it
essentially
a state that is like if you live in California and they say no more abortions, but Washington says you can, and you go to Washington to get your abortion, I don't think you should be able to be.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
charged for that.
I have heard of states that are trying to do that.
Yeah,
which is scary. No, I mean I don't think any state or government should have a right to tell people how to handle that situation. I think there's a very good argument for either side. On why or why not.
It's always going to be a big issue, and that's why I say leave it up to the states.
Well, I would say leave it up to the individual.
If you don't like your state, I mean, yeah, I guess to the individual to an extent, yeah. I mean, that makes the most sense.
I mean, look, if people are going to like do, let's say like get an unnecessary abortion or quote unquote unnecessarily, like it's kind of just like a flimsy, like I got pregnant, whatever, I'm just gonna get it, right? That person will go to any means to find that. I mean, before abortion was legalized, people were getting these like really sketchy coat hanger, the classic coat hanger abortions where they were going to Mexico and like getting like black market abortions that were terrible, and like there's a lot of malicious things that were happening in that sphere. So yeah, take the government out of all that shit. Let the individual decide what they want to do.
I don't know if you'd be able to take the state government out of it, though. It'd be a big truck.
Well, yeah, I mean that's with my position of ending the Fed, I mean it's not really so much about whether it's possible; it's about whether it's right.
Ending the Fed doesn't end the state. Is what I'm saying.
Well, no, sure. That would be the first step. End the Fed is kind of in quotations to like just ending the state in general, ending the government. I mean, I guess not. I guess when people say that, they don't necessarily mean that. So this guy's trying to tear apart what our forefathers built. Just by the way.
Oh
yeah, dude, I'm reading a book about it right now, and about like the federalization of the government. The founding fathers completely screwed everybody over. Like their whole vision of America, they completely backstepped and were like, "Oh, but this is going to work. We need to federalize our." So like George Washington did like a complete 180. He was like, "Oh, we actually need to federalize ourselves and all come together, or else blah 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 blah." Right? But basically, the problem was that
dude had dentures made from slave teeth.
Damn, that's right. I forget about that. But the thing that's interesting about that whole thing is, like the military. The biggest problem with what was going on was that they had, the Confederates, the 13 colonies had all like unanimously created an army, right? And they had all just kind of like promised them, we're going to give you all this money, etc. And then they weren't able to come through. They actually had to have this guy, Alexander Morris, I think his name is. He had to personally like write all these checks to like the army people, and it was like the bare minimum. It wasn't even enough. So I mean, there was all this pressure from the war for them to like just. There was also like, Europe and Spain were on either side of them, and they were like trying to like dive in and get the fucking they were just waiting for the whole thing to collapse so they could come in and like take all the shit, right? So there was a lot of pressure for them to federalize it. But I mean, look, I mean, in a sense, and a lot of them even understood at the time that what they were doing was antithetical to like the revolution. But I mean, I don't know. That was a time where like these.
Could you imagine, dude?
Yeah, living back then.
Yeah, if a bunch of Brits would have just kept this shit, fucking.
Well, in a sense, they like. In a weird way, they almost kind of did.
I know. I say it all the time, though. I don't think I don't think we ever won the Revolutionary War.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm kind of reading about right now. Is like
they got to a point where we were both like, yo. If we don't stop this, neither one of us is gonna have a country anymore.
Well, I mean, exactly. Well, what happened is like people in Europe started like really liking what was going on in the U.S. So like. The idea of the United States was already growing popularity in Europe. So they were just like, okay, why don't we just like, I mean, it's basically an extension. I mean, they viewed it as like an extension.
France was on it too.
Yeah.
There was,
Yep.
France and Britain were like so close to just going to all out war together as well because the French sent their navy to help us.
Yeah.
And so the Brits sent their navy to French waters.
It's wild.
I mean, it was gonna. That could have caused like the first like quote unquote world war. That could have been it.
Yeah. Well, if we ever do our worst presidents, we can talk about.
It's too bad the Confederacy lost. You fucking dopes. It's funny though because they wanted help, but they couldn't get any help though. Nobody helped them. That's the funniest part. I'm pretty sure France helped us there too. Helped the Union.
Yeah.
So shouts out to the French, dude. Won in a war or a battle with fucking bread and dead fish.
Yeah, and then they tricked a bunch of black people to get in the front lines for them.
Isn't it funny that France is like notorious for losing wars though?
Oh yeah.
France is notorious for losing wars, but French people won a battle with bread and dead fish. Mostly bread and fish.
We got time for one more?
Yeah, well, I thought, are we going to do a scenario one? Or are we just doing another question?
I looked them up, but I never sent them.
Okay, let's just do another question then. I would answer.
We could do a scenario question, though.
I mean, either way, I don't care. Whichever you guys want to do.
Here's the bonus question.
Okay, bonus question.
Lolo.
Ooh, Lolo.
How will you address systemic racism and promote equity in areas such as criminal justice reform, education, and economic opportunities?
Well, I think when it comes to racism, there's some people that you're just not going to change their mind. Like some of us as people are going to have to grow up and realize that some folks are going to be racist. You know, if you're
like
actively being racist, that could be harassment, assault, whatever. I mean, those things are already illegal. And, you know, we're going to take the steps, take the measures to make sure that those people face charges for those crimes. But facing charges isn't going to make them not racist. So, I mean, in the sense of stopping racism, you just can't. But as far as police force, we are going to backtrack. Less money needs to go to police. You know, less federal training for police. We don't need to send DEA officers to police departments in order to train them for anything. The states can handle that within themselves. No National Guard training state police, nothing like that. We're going to back up the laws on marijuana. Absolutely, marijuana is going to be federally decriminalized. It's going to be federally legal. As long as you are a United States citizen in the U.S., you can possess marijuana completely legally. We're going to make a federal law that you can't arrest black people specifically. I forgot the question.
Just a caveat.
I forgot
just
the
at
question.
The very end.
I tuned out because I was like, oh, okay, we're done. I should have been like, no more questions.
You eventually, your subconscious came out and you're just like, this is what I really want.
Joe Biden.
All right. So my answer to solving the issue of race in America, I agree with a lot of what you said in terms of like the idea of racism. We can try to do our best to educate people and to, give them experiences that can, open their mind and change their worldview. But in reality, yes, there are always going to be people who are going to look at people of a different nationality, skin color, whatever, as lower than them. That's unavoidable. However, I think if you want to look at what is truly oppressing in America, specifically these groups of people, I agree with you. It is 100% the police. It is 100% the government. I think the criminalization of drugs has done a huge damage to black communities, Hispanic communities, whatever, any minority group. I think that it is a vessel for the government to then discriminate against its people. And drugs is the easiest way to do that. Oh, you have a drug. Okay, now I can arrest you, take you from your home, block you in a cell, and then retroactively charge you. I don't think there's any reason that the police should be able to do that for anybody. So my first step in solving that issue would be to completely legalize all drugs, and then I would push for complete abolishment of the police. I think they are a malicious force. I don't see why they need to be there. So
I wouldn't abolish the police completely. I think the idea of the police, of what they were supposed to be, is a very good idea. I think the police were taken extremely too far, though. They were given way too much power opposed to what they're supposed to have, or opposed to what they show that they have. Fuck. Yes, I said that right the first time. They're given way too much power. There's too much police. It's an absolute overload. And they're expected to do too many things that I don't think any person can really just be held to that type of standard consistently 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, look, to an extent, an olive branch, to police, I actually do agree with that. I think that, like, if just in terms of like human to human, right? Like the idea that you have to limit your self defense, like if somebody's like charging at you, like you're not able to defend yourself by any means. Like on a human, I mean, obviously, in my mind, anyways, if you're part of the police, you're carrying those edicts out and you're opposing their will on other people. So there's something malicious in that. I'm just talking like from a human standpoint to offer that olive branch. But the police operate by the law, and the law is always.
But many times they don't.
Yes.
Because they've been given so much power. I would de-unionize police for sure.
Well, I guess that's my point, though, is like the law in it. Like, okay, let's just say what they're supposed to do, right? What their job is supposed to do. The law is always subject to bias. Mm-hmm. I'll take this example. An old lady signs paperwork for a business to have a lifetime supply of chocolates sent to her house, and she signs this check and the paperwork and all that to pay them like $20,000, let's say, whatever, some ridiculous amount. There is a legal precedent for both sides of that argument that are completely valid. One being, they took advantage of this old lady and took all her money. This is wrong. And then there's another side of the argument where it's like she signed something that's a legally binding contract. Like she voluntarily made that agreement. Like they so that bargain should be upheld, right? Like in any law, in any situation,
if
there's
they fulfilled the contract, if they fulfilled their end, then I don't think there's any argument. Unless it's like medically proven. Okay, but see, this is
dementia. This is what I'm saying is that this is your bias. This is your interpretation of the law. My point is there are multiple, infinite interpretations of the law that are always subject to bias. So there's this idea that there's this big, the police are, and the police in the state are in the interest of the law, which is supposed to be in the interest of people.
Yeah, but there's no bias in law. There's no bias in that law. If she doesn't have a medical reason, like if there's no medical proof that she has dementia, she's mentally there and she signed a contract and they fulfilled the contract.
But there's a completely different side of the argument that would say it doesn't matter if she has dementia. Just the mere fact that she was, whatever, illusioned or kind of like coerced into this.
Okay, so see,
I'm just saying that that's a side of the argument.
Coerced in what way?
like coerced to like say like, hey, this is going to be a really big. You like chocolate? You really like chocolate? Hey, just sign this. Like whatever. Hey, you just got to do this to your house. Like there's ways to talk it out, right? Like there's ways to talk them around it. So
I mean, the deal sounded,
I guess my point is there's always a bias in the law.
Straight up.
To you
said
this is my point. Is you are interjecting your bias into the situation and asserting that this is how it goes.
There's the contract. Did they fulfill it or did they not?
It doesn't matter if they fulfill it or if they...
How did you get coerced into fucking buying a lifetime supply of chocolate? Like what? We need a better scenario to lay this out.
I'm not
what the fuck?
I'm not gonna explain.
Because it sounds like if you got chocolate sent to your house once a month from them,
it doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is the initiation of the... We're done. I'm not doing this a third time.
I mean, that's people defending themselves, if you ask me. She didn't defend herself very correctly. She signed the fucking contract.
Our producer's over this bullshit. He's like, just fuck it.
All right, post your votes in the comments. Who's the president?
$20,000 for chocolate once a month.
It doesn't matter what the number is. It can be any number. It can be one. It can be $1 million.
$1 million for chocolate
It doesn't matter. The point is the law, dude. The point is that there's a bias every fucking time. This is why people can't vote for me for president, because I get too angry.
So what's your choice? Do you think she got coerced?
No.
Do you think they're wrong?
No, I would. No, personally, I would agree in that situation. But I am not in a position. I'm not an authoritarian. I'm not someone who believes that my knowledge is the word that is the truth. Like, there's an argument to be made on either side.
I would take out those fucking contracts. They didn't send you your chocolate. Go kill them.
I mean, in an anarchist society, that's not too unrealistic. But anyways,
in an anarchist society, that's what would happen most likely. If somebody was like, yo, pay me $20,000 and I'll deliver these once a month to your house forever, and you stop doing it,
I think that's entirely
I'm going to
fair.
come and kill you and take whatever of them you got.
I mean, in my mind, I think the government does far worse things for not getting their money. So
hell yeah, dude, the government fucking takes away little kids. They go disappearing. Yeah, literally. Sends them to places where they can get raped multiple times.
Yeah. Is that worse than getting shot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Dude,
man.
that reminds me of that argument. you were like, I got my Game Boy taken away forever. And I was like, and see, you could have got hit once. And then you were like, I did get hit. And I was like, oh, shit, dude.
I got hit, and then they like, all right, and now we're also going to take your bullshit away.
Yeah, they suck for that, dude. They fucking suck. I fucking dropped my Game Boy Advance that I had when we were coming back from Florida from a family vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped it when we were at the gas station. Because I remember seeing it, and I don't know, it must have like slipped and fell out. And it was just gone forever, dude.
All right, guys.
Sad. Yeah, we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, I gotta take a shit.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna post a link in the description of the comments that is a direct link where you guys can vote on who you think should be the president of the podcast. Lolo Savage, who is a gay Indian who's not even 5 foot, or
How am I gay, mister? I had this experience when I was in the shower, and I'm gay. Get out of here.
or you can vote for me, who is
who wants to
well
destroy
read, politically
everything
knowledged
that we've worked for. Exactly.
It's all bullshit.
Fart noises.
All right. Fuck you, cunts. Have a good night. Vote for us, please. I shouldn't say that when I'm trying to get people to vote for me. All right. Peace.